ています。
The time is 9 o'clock. You're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick.
And now it's time for your CHMA News. We're broadcasting from Sackville, New Brunswick, the heart of the Maritimes and the traditional and unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. Coming up in the next 15 minutes, we'll have your local news, Atlantic update, weather, sports update, and some community announcements.
It's Clinton Davis with your local CHMA News here in Tantramar. Well, Lady Smith Manor in Dorchester that hosts the Thirsty Whippet saw its annual summer market return to Dorchester last weekend, bringing together market goers from across New Brunswick. I stopped by the historic property Saturday afternoon and talked to the owner, Miriam Andrews. But first, there are 2 arts events wrapping up today in Sackville. Singer-songwriter Scott Hems takes the stage for Tantramar's Free Concerts in the Park series from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at Bill Johnson Memorial Park. Hems is known for blending folk, roots, and East Coast influences in his original music and live performances. Meanwhile, it's also the final day of artist Rachel Thornton's Members Production Fund residency at Strutt's Gallery. She's been there since July 10th, and Thornton has been developing Theriomancy. It's a project exploring the connections between mythology and ecology. The work uses sculpture, drawing, and installation to examine relationships between humans, animals, and the natural world. And now, dozens of cars still lined the road late Saturday afternoon on an otherwise fairly calm stretch of road at 22 Woodlawn in Dorchester, near Dorchester Square. The Lady Smith Manor was hosting its annual summer market, with an estimated total of nearly 1,500 people visiting the village of less than 1,200 over 2 days. Held on the grounds of the historic Lady Smith Manor, this year's Mary Poppins themed market welcomed visitors from across New Brunswick for a weekend of local shopping, live entertainment, and family activities. I spoke with Miriam Andrews, event organizer and co-owner of the Lady Smith Manor, on Saturday afternoon near the end of the first day.
Yeah, it's the end of our first day. It's been an amazing day, perfect weather.
The Mary Poppins theme aimed to transform the historic grounds into Cherry Tree Lane, with themed activities, local artisans, and entertainment drawing visitors from across the province. In addition, a life-size balloon-made Mary Poppins hung from the sky in the middle of it all, umbrella in hand, overseeing the event.
Not too windy, and Mary Poppins didn't fly away because she's flying through the sky above our tents.
Andrews described the day.
We've had a fantastic turnout. It's been really nice to see people sitting outside with blankets under the oak trees. We've got a Cherry Tree Lane photo booth that people have been taking photos in. We've got Bert's Chalk Corner, amazing vendors that have brought a really lovely collection of local vintage-inspired and handcrafted items. It's just really very much great to see people come together. Like, we see a lot of people coming as families, as couples, girlfriends, so it's just nice to see people here and enjoying time together.
Approximately 25 artisans took part in this year's market. Many have become regulars, traveling from across New Brunswick to Dorchester each summer.
We have some as far way north of Fredericton who come down. They've been with us for the whole 7 years, which has been really great. It's really nice to have a diverse products that allow the guests to come and experience some really nice and perhaps, unusual or unique things that they perhaps may not have seen before.
Taking in the sights and spending money in Tantramar. According to Andrews, the summer market has continued to grow over the past several years. Last year's theme, The Greatest Showman, was expected to attract more than 1,000 visitors. This year's attendance was estimated at nearly 1,500, more than the population of Dorchester itself.
We're going to be close to 1,500 for the weekend. Today we probably had 600, 700 would be my guess.
With another successful summer market complete, planning is already underway for the Manor's annual Christmas market.
Our next one is our Christmas market. Now, our Christmas market gets bigger and bigger each year. Last year we had over 2,000 people at our Christmas one. This year we're not, I know what the theme is going to be. All I can say, it's going to be a really good theme.
The Ladysmith Manor's Christmas market is expected to return later this year.
The nice thing about Christmas is we use the tent. We have everything lit up, and there's something special about Christmas that gives that kind of magical element to the market.
Questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to reach out to the team at news@chmafm.com. That's it for your local news for today. I'm Quentin Davis with CHMA News here in Tantramar.
こんにちは、私はハルトです。CHMA を聞いています。
And here is your CHMA Atlantic update for Thursday, July 23rd. Just give me 1 second, kind folks, because I was not prepared as I should have been. Here's your Atlantic update for Thursday, July 23rd. The New Brunswick government is adding new public housing units in Fredericton and Ormukto. The provincial government says a 10-unit complex in Fredericton has 8 3-bedroom and 2 2-bedroom units and will be ready for move-in in the coming weeks. Minister David Hickey with the New Brunswick Housing Corporation says the project and the others will rebuild the foundation of affordable housing New Brunswickers need. Hickey also says the Housing Corporation bought 3 2-bedroom townhouses in Ormukto. And Canada's 13 premiers continued their talks yesterday during the second day of their Council of the Federation meeting in Charlottetown, PEI. Recent trade war escalations with the U.S. was expected to be the main topic of their conversations yesterday. But PEI Premier Rob Lance says they will focus on issues that are close to home, like healthcare and energy security. New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt says the premiers are calling on the federal government to boost its contribution to healthcare funding back to a 50-50 split. This comes as health advocate groups are warning that Canada's rapidly aging population has strained the country's healthcare system. And the Crime Severity Index of St. John, New Brunswick saw the biggest increase of any Canadian city last year. Statistics Canada says the index, which measures the volume and severity of crime, climbed up 20 points. New Brunswick was the only province in the country to see its score increase. The severity index for the entire province was up 6%. And a health advocate group says the federal government must boost healthcare funding with strings attached. Friends of Medicare rallied today in front of Hotel PEI, where Canada's premiers gathered to talk about healthcare and other issues. The group was protesting Alberta's plans to allow some surgeons to charge patients for optimal procedures like hip and knee replacements outside their publicly funded system. The group's director, Chris Galloway, said Ottawa shouldn't give a blank check to provinces like Alberta, which he says is dismantling the public healthcare system. And finally, police in Newfoundland and Labrador say they have arrested a third suspect in connection with a home invasion and assault that happened in Harbour Grace earlier this month. Police say 3 suspects broke into a home on July 3rd, and a person who was inside was injured with a weapon and had to be taken to hospital. Investigators believe this was a targeted incident and say the suspect and victim knew each other. 2 suspects were arrested earlier this month, and a third suspect, who was arrested Monday, is facing charges of robbery, break and entering, and aggravated assault. And that is your Atlantic update. I'll be back shortly with your weather from Maya Noel here on The Voice of the Marshes.
And here's your CHMA Atlantic update. And now for the weather. Today we're looking at a mix of sun and cloud, with fog patches dissipating in the morning, wind becoming southwest 20 kilometers an hour, gusting to 40 near noon, with a high of 26, a humidex of 30, and a UV index of 8 or very high. At night, partly cloudy skies, becoming clear in the evening, wind southwest 20 kilometers an hour, gusting to 40, becoming light in the evening with a low of 12. On Friday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 27, then at night, clear skies with a low of 13. On Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 27, then at night, also clear skies with a low of 13. On Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 26, at night, cloudy periods with a low of 15. On Monday, a mix of sun and cloud with a 30% chance of showers and a high of 23. At night, cloudy periods with a low of 15. Finally, on Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud with a 30% chance of showers and a high of 24. And that has been the weather.
Hi, I'm Hinako, and you're listening to CHMA.
And here's Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update.
17 games in Major League Baseball yesterday, including 2 doubleheaders, saw the Pittsburgh Pirates and the New York Yankees split theirs, 5-3 in the first one for the Pirates and a 2-0 victory for the Yankees in the second one. Boston Red Sox tie a franchise record for 15 consecutive wins in their early defeat against the Baltimore Orioles 6-3, but lose the nightcap 5-1, still moving them within 3.5 games of the third wildcard spot. Atlanta defeats your San Diego Padres 7-6, was a 1-run victory for the Kansas City Royals over the San Francisco Giants 5-4. Brewers with the 4-3 victory over the New York Mets. Nationals shut out the Rockies 8-0. D-backs beat up on the Athletics 15-5 final there. This was a 5-3 victory for the Reds over the Mariners. In the old Pacific Northwest, St. Louis Cardinals, they defeat the Los Angeles Angels 1-0. 10-6 victory for the Twins over the Guardians. Tigers win 5-1 against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley. White Sox, they double up against the Texas Rangers. 4-2 final there. It was also 4-2 final in downtown Toronto. Your Toronto Blue Jays, they lose to the Tampa Bay Rays. It was a 9-5 victory for the Dodgers over the Phillies. Astros beat the Marlins 5-2 in Houston. And that's what was happening in Major League action. WNBA, the last games before the All-Star break. Phoenix Mercury defeat the LA Sparks 86-82. Minnesota Lynx with the 86-76 victory over the Seattle Storm. New York Liberty, their 95-94 victors over the Chicago Sky at home. It was a 1-point victory for the Washington Mystics over the visiting Las Vegas Aces. 199 finish there. Fever all over the Connecticut Sun, 123-88. And it was the Dallas Wings up in Portland with the 101-97 victory over the Portland Fire. Last week in World Masters Darts in Las Vegas, the 2026 champion Chris Lightning Lim from California defeats his Belgian competitor Brian Rahman going home with a total cash prize of $12,000. Not to be outdone, World Cup winners Fabian Ruiz and Gavi earn their weight in tomatoes from their hometown in Los Palacios y Villafranca in Spain. PSG's Ruiz coming in at 185 pounds, while Barcelona's Gavi checked in at 150 pounds. Finally, tonight in New Brunswick Senior League Baseball, the Fredericton Royals visit the Chatham Ironmen, and the Moncton Mets travel to St. John to take on the Alpines.
And that's Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update. Please be sure to check out Brian's show on Mondays at 8:30 a.m. for more sports commentary.
こんにちは、私はひなこです。あなたは CHMA を聞いています。
And now for what's happening in your community. Festival by the Marsh is excited to announce their production of The Woman in Black, directed by Alfie Spurls and written by Stephen Malatrat. One of the most successful ghost stories ever staged, this show follows a lawyer who becomes obsessed with a terrorist with a hiring. Filled with suspense and scares, this thriller will keep you on the edge of your seat until the very end. The Woman in Black will be showing July 22nd, 24th, and 25th at 7:30 p.m. You can find the showing at the Sackville Curling Club on 22 Lansdowne Street. You can find tickets at their Eventbrite page on festivalbythemarsh.com. If you're looking for a low-stakes community environment to enjoy some treats and warm beverages, then Nursing Home Without Walls Tantramar is excited to announce their weekly Tea and Talks. These events invite those 60 and up to visit Cafe Tantramar on 34 Mallard Drive for a calm, refreshing snack in the afternoon. Tea and Talks are every Thursday and can be expected to start July 23rd. Outside and indoor seating are available for everyone who visits between 2:30 p.m. and 3:45. Every Friday in July, Struts Gallery is hosting a barbecue. Head over from 12 to 1 p.m. to get yourself a burger and an ice-cold beverage. We have veggie and gluten-free options available. Payment is cash only. While you're at the gallery, check out Wes Harmon's exhibition and Brie Gant's open studio. This is coming up next on July 24th at 12 p.m. Step back in time and indulge in the elegance of a bygone era. Enjoy a selection of fine teas with faux Devonshire cream and homemade jams amidst the historic gardens of the Keeler House Museum. Victorian garden party chic is encouraged. Book your spot in advance for special pricing, $15 per person or $50 for a group of 4. RSVP at 506-864-5811. This will take place at 4974 Main Street in Dorchester, New Brunswick. And that's what's happening in your community.
And that was your CHMA news. Please visit www.chmafm.com for more news and to sign up for our email newsletter. Funding is provided by our monthly sustainers, the Community Radio Fund of Canada, and the Municipality of Tantramara's Community Development Grant. If you have a story idea or would like to include an announcement, please write us at news@chmafm.com.
On weekdays at 1 p.m., Democracy Now! Produces a daily global independent news hour hosted by award-winning journalists Amy Goodman and Juan Gonzalez. Tune in to listen to a diversity of voices speaking for themselves, providing a unique and sometimes provocative perspective on global events.
Whether you are heading to work, getting off a shift, or just waking up in the morning, you're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick, Voice of the Marshes. I'm Maya, and you're listening to the Late Morning Show. Today is Thursday, July 23rd. I hope you guys are having a wonderful morning so far. We are going to jump into some music right away. First up, we have Holy F with Gold Flakes, as well as White Horse with I Want the Milk. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in and enjoy.
want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid. My body has an appetite, hunger pains a sleepless night. Lust is no mere mutiny, but the honey for the birds, the honey for the bees. I want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid. I want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid. As I say, not as I do. Eat your cake and have it too. Splayed across the kitchen floor, up against the windows and up against the doors. I want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid. I want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid. I want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid. All right. Come on. It's all you. Now the hedonists and the heretics bide your time, they bind your wrist. You can't breathe, you can't exhale. One woman's freedom is another man's jail. I want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid. I want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid. I want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid. I want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid. I want the milk, the money from the milk and the milkmaid.
You just heard White Horse with I Want the Milk on CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick, Voice of the Marshes. I'm Maya and you're listening to The Late Morning Show, and we also heard Gold Flakes by Holy F. Next up, we have Jose Gonzalez with Against the Dying of the Light, as well as Cola with Havelock Country. Let's get into it.
Who you ever come
beasts that rhyme. They're so heavy.